the tension between players kneeling during the national anthem in silent protest of racial and social injustice and those who disagree with the protesters has been well publicized in the NFL since former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick first knelt last season. That tension made its way to the local high school level Thursday evening, when volleyball players from Cristo Rey Jesuit, a private school in Minneapolis, knelt during the playing of the national anthem before a match at North Lakes Academy, a charter school in the Twin Cities' northern suburb of Forest Lake. Cam Stotler, executive director of North Lakes Academy, said Friday afternoon that some adult fans in attendance shouted at the kneeling to players to stand up and said, "Not in our house." It made for an emotionally charged game, Stotler said of the match, which North Lakes won in 4 sets. "We are very proud of how our student-athletes, students and coaches responded. It's disappointing that any negative response would come from players kneeling." The Forest Lake Times, which first reported on the story and had a reporter at the match, similarly described the scene as emotional and highly charged. Stotler said he has communicated with everyone in the school community about Thursday's incident, reinforcing the North Lakes Code of Conduct that requires those in attendance at school events to contribute in a positive way. Robert Carpentier, the athletic director at Cristo Rey Jesuit, said on Friday that most if not all of the school's volleyball players had been kneeling during the national anthem, with their hands on their hearts, before every match this season without previously hearing any negative feedback from other teams or fans. They're not the only local school or team that has participated in anthem protests this year. Players from several metro area football teams, including those from Cooper, have knelt or otherwise demonstrated during the anthem this season. Carpentier described Cristo Rey Jesuit as being primarily made up of students of color, many of whom are economically under-resourced. The school's coaches and administrators, he said, have had conversations with student-athletes about reasons for protesting dating back to last year, when several girls soccer players knelt during the playing of the national anthem before a game. "We have players of all ethnicities on the volleyball team," Carpentier said. "My personal perspective is that we all want to teach kids to advocate for themselves. Our school policy is that as long as they are respectful and reasonable, we respect their rights." Stotler, who was not at the match, said North Lakes Academy issued an apology to Cristo Rey Jesuit. "There was a level of embarrassment that was relayed to me by the coaches," he said. Michael Rand started Randball with hopes that he could convince the world to love jumpsuits as much as he does. So far, he's only succeeded in using the word redacted a lot. He welcomes suggestions, news tips, links of pure genius, and pictures of pets in Halloween costumes here, though he already knows he will regret that last part. Follow at Randball on Twitter. More from Randball. Volleyball players from Cristo Rey Jesuit of Minneapolis knelt before a match at a Forest Lake charter school Thursday. North Lakes Academy officials issued an apology after some adults yelled at the players. Known as 2-Minute Tommy during his playing days, the former Vikings quarterback needs a few more minutes than that to wind through the highs and lows of a 14-year NFL career. There are already a lot of candidate lists out there, and one consistent name near the top of them is former Twins manager Ron Gardenhire. Randball writes it's Vikings-Packers week, which means it's time for two fan bases that exist on stubbornly parallel planes to suddenly veer into each other and collide head-on. The risk with Andrew Wiggins is this: will he become a star who makes players around him better, or is his ceiling as a good but not terribly efficient scorer?